Good evening and welcome to another episode of Not Another Rangers podcast. And I can't stop laughing. Ross Clark just makes you laugh. And tonight joining me is Ricky and Ross. How you doing, Ricky?
Oh, good. Just trying to not laugh at the madman. It's laugh a minute with Billy Connolly at the bottom.
How you doing, Ross?
All right, mate. It's good to be back. It's good to,
I know
good
you've
to be
been
back.
over on for a while. You've been too busy. We've been kicked into touch because you're here and everywhere. You're a wanted man and you're in demand. So let's go into
A busy man, Keir. A busy man.
a busy man. You know, everybody wants.
Busy doing nothing usually, but busy all the same.
Everybody wants a bite of the Roscoe. As they say. Right, let's go on to the last night's game. A 2-0 victory against St Johnstone. Ricky, what did you make of the lineup last night before we start?
Good place to start, Kerr. I was disappointed, mate, to be honest with you. I looked at the lineup after Leon, and I think we should be using these games to get ready for the harder games that are coming up, you know. I was surprised to see Tavernier starting at right back. I thought Suter and Proper were pretty lucky to stay together as a partnership because there was the opportunity to bring in Sterling. I would have brought in Casemiro. I would have brought him in at right back, and then I was very disappointed to see McCausland on the left. I don't know why Clement keeps with this experiment. He does the guy absolute no favours there. He cannot play on the left side of the attack. So I was a little bit disappointed there. I mean, I know that we're short on options. Like, we've got a good few injuries still. Our left side is an absolute disaster just now. We're missing Cortez, who's out long-term injured again. So I was a little bit disappointed. I thought there could have been a bit more freshness, and I think that Clement needs to be preparing for these big games we've got coming up, you know. It was always going to be pretty routine against St Johnstone at home, but we've got some massive games coming up, and I sort of feel like he's driving into the deep end. He's driving into the deep end without armbands on, and I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, mate.
Ross, just for a come to you, I mean, Clement said before he wants to try and change up. Guys have played too many games. He was alluding to Conor Barron there. But does that not include Tav in that? Because Tav's played basically since the start of the season and he's been great. So why was he not rested?
I think it comes down to balls in it, because I think Clement knows the same as the 3 years know, the same as the people in the chat know, that the minute Tavernier comes out of that team, you see a difference. You've seen a difference even through the week with Casemiro, can't say that, came in at right back. You see the difference. Somebody who can do the defensive, but also has got a bit going forward as well. And I think it's a balls thing when it comes to Phil Clement with Tav. I think he's scared to drop him because you're then into new territory. You're into life without Tav, and I think that for a new manager coming in who's maybe struggling to get his style of play across, who's maybe not getting the fans on side as quickly as he thought, I'd like to know what October he was talking about. We'd be playing our best stuff, maybe 2027 or 2028. But it's a big decision to drop your captain, Kerr. You know that. Yeah. Captains have been played through bad form. It's just unfortunate we've been playing ours through bad form for the last 18 months.
I'll stick with you quickly, Ross, before I go back to Ricky. But Paul's asking, why did VAR no intervene for the penalty? If you remember the one where Dessers was getting his shirt pulled in the box, and you see the penalties for that all the time. They didn't even look at it. David Dickens and just waved it away.
There's an old wives' tale, Keir. I'm going to let you in on a secret. There's an old wives' tale about the boy that cried wolf. And for me, that's what Dessers has offered us. I was very quick to stick up for him when he'd scored 7 and 7 at the start of the season. Maybe said he needed it was his second season. He's had a good pre-season. He's had a year in the country. Maybe you were going to see the best of him in his second season. And then he had a nuke against Celtic. And since then, he's went downhill rapidly. So all he's offering to us now is breaking down every attack we've got, because rather than going put his head on the ball, I'd rather get a bit of contact and drop to the deck. There's been 2 or 3 this season already where even with the contact on him, he should still be going and putting a head or a foot on the ball, but he's quite happy And what happens is, over time, you get a reputation that you go down too easy and these things get overlooked. And I think that's the territory he's in. The worry for me is we've nowhere else to go now. We've not got another striker. Last night I'd like to have seen a Gamani get a game with the likes of Cherny and Bajrami run about him. I felt as if he got hung out to dry a wee bit getting his first start when we played that so-called weakened team. Not that much can get weaker. The state of the squad is really stinking. For me, that's why Dessers never got it, because he's cried wolf once too many times. But that's why VAR was brought in, and it is a clear penalty. There's no doubt about it. He's getting the shot pulled right off him. So the referee not giving it, I can understand, but surely then VAR have got to check it, and it's as clear a penalty as you'll see.
It is, Ricky, isn't it? It's a clear penalty, but just on Dessers, Ricky, he had a good chance right at the start of the game. The ball coming across, and anyway, he puts a header, he kind of scores, but it was a poor header, wasn't it? And after that, apart from running by the ball at times and falling over the ball and moaning and groaning, he didn't bring a lot to the match.
The thing is with Dessers is when he's bad, he's really bad. Like when he has, you get some players and they play bad. Like say Cherny will play bad, and but you'll still see him have little moments. And he didn't play bad yesterday. He played well yesterday. But I'm on about in general. But when Dessers, you see Dessers. I mean, that chance, it's a clear header. And he puts it about 3 foot over the bar. But even the smart, he doesn't do anything, man, It's a sad day when we're all crying, we're wanting Fat Morelos back, and is what the worst version of him, because what we're used to seeing, and then we need to get Danilo. Apparently he's going to be back training during the international break, and well, mate, I know he's made of glass and everything like that, and he's not really built for Scottish football. But mate, we paid £6 million. We paid £6 million for Danilo, and we have been absolutely robbed.
I know. There's not a lot
robbed, mate.
The squad with the players we've got. I mean, Dessers is he's number one position, hasn't he? But Ross, with Dessers, just still talk with Dessers at the moment before we go elsewhere. Know yourself, Ross, if you're playing in any position in the team, but you know there's somebody behind you, if you play bad, putting pressure on you. So your performances have to be top notch. But there's a lot of players in your team, especially Dessers, that don't have that. They know even if they have a poor game, they're basically guaranteed the next match anyway. I mean, is that, I'm not saying I'm sticking up for him, but is that his fault? Or is that the club's fault, the manager's fault? Because surely, I mean, as a football player, it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. You have to go into a match after game. You want to win it. You want to give your best. But I don't see that for some of the players. And Dessers is one of them. I mean, he was moaning when he gets up. But to me, if he was moaning at himself, that's fine. But he didn't have a right to moan at the manager or anything else because he was guff.
I don't know who the fuck he thinks he is, to be honest with you. See, people. Again, I'm on my downhill. We've had the big one get up, climbing to 200 feet and that. Then the old firm came and they were firing down at 70 mile an hour. I get it. It's like a roller coaster ride with the big man. But the likes of coming off yesterday and throwing tape off your socks and muttering under your breath when you're... What does he expect? And if you're still getting games after the performances he's put in the last 3 or 4 weeks, you want to be very thankful that he's still getting a chance. And that is only because of our piss poor recruitment over the last season. This time last year, we were on podcasts, you've had people on Rangers TV, you're going to follow. It's for what's the number one priority for January? A new striker. We went through a January and a summer window. Fair play in the summer, we spent £1.7 million on a youth project who looks pretty decent, but for £1.7 million, I want somebody that's going to bust the net for us the new. I know that we're investing, and he's been telling us it's a project, and as I've said on here a few times, I think they've conceded that they'll no win anything this year, but the hope is that after a season playing together, the likes of your Bajramis and Hefties and Barons and Diamondis, they'll build up the spine of a team that you'll maybe only need to go and get 2 or 3 real quality additions next summer, because the turnover of the squad's been stinking. Rebuilds every year because we change manager. So I think that's what the extension is. But as for Dessers, mate, I don't get it. He can go for the sublime to the ridiculous, but as we've said before on here as well, one of the boys did tell you that when he's good, he's shit hot, but when he's bad, he's shit in a pot. Hashtag Rabbi Burns.
I know. But obviously, we get Iggy. Iggy, I'm calling you Iggy.
Iggy Pop.
My mind's away. I worked too long. But obviously, we've got Iggy man there. Which, you can see there's potential there. I don't know if he's a striker. Ricky, I don't know if he can finish because he's not done a lot of game time. But when he has, he's drifting left, he's drifting right, he's coming back, looking for the ball. He seems more as a deep line striker than he does a poacher. So is he going to be the answer, or is he just in there? Because we all know he's kind of a potential, he's a project. Come on, said it himself. If we didn't sign him this season, we probably couldn't afford him next season.
Yeah.
But surely, all we knew Danilo's issues, we should have brought somebody else in there. Or give the boy Lovelace some game time just to see what he's got. We've seen it in the past, and he looks decent and he can finish, so why not give him or is that too much a stretch? Telling him to give Lovelace a game, because he says he wants to play the youth, but he has been a point with Lefty and Barron and stuff, but he's not really playing any around you.
Yeah, he's bringing on McCausland out of position, and then Lovelace wasn't even on the bench. He was in the matchday squad, and then he was one of the ones that were left out. He sat in the stand, which was I'm like Ross. I feel sorry for Igamani. I think he started in the cup game and he had no firepower. He started him really poor front three behind him, and everyone really had a bad game, but he didn't show up too great in that game. And then he brought him on for 30 minutes. He had a few half chances, but he doesn't. I mean, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult to judge when it's so little time. But he doesn't look like, the manager doesn't look like he's confident enough to throw him in and play him ahead of Dessers right now. So, but he needs to get him up to speed quick. And if not, we need to give Lovelace some minutes from the bench and see what we can do, because we need options up there. I mean, to be honest with you, mate, even Hadji, this is how poor a quality of side we are now. Even Hadji, when he came on, looked like a decent level above the players that were in that were playing ahead of him until he got sent off, obviously. But you just saw a few touches, you were like, okay, that's what the team has been missing. So we're really, really short of quality up front. So we definitely need to think of Lovelace as an option, because we need all the help we can get up there, mate.
No, I know that, Ricky. And back to the game, Ross. We started okay last night. I'm not saying we were great. We started okay. Tab was involved in a couple of crosses, had a free kick as well. The one he passed in, I think it was him that passed it into Diamante, who turned, but the shot was blocked. But then Tierney gets the ball, nutmegs the defender, which is a good bit of skill, and he just curls it into the bottom corner, which was a really good finish, considering the boys were under pressure from myself and from many others. He deleted his social media because he was getting a bit of stick, but he didn't seem to let it get to him. He seemed to try to answer a few critics. I'm not saying he played amazingly, but you could see he was trying.
My mate texted me last night. I need to give him a shout out, David Marklow. He texted me last night and says, I bet your man Vaslav is man of the match tonight. Probably score because there's no pressure on him. So is it, that can work two ways. Is that because he can't handle playing in front of an Ibrox Stadium when they go and get stuff, or is it because he needed a wee game like that against, no disrespect to St Johnstone, but he needed a game against St Johnstone where he could go and get a couple of goals and get the confidence back up? What I will tell you is, if his post-match presser was Dog's Trusting, I would have adopted him for 200 quid, man. I'd have stuck the leash on him and took him home with me right then. See the puppy dog eyes, mate? Oh my word. I'm very sorry. Like I know.
I think he's very honest, but Ross, because no many footballers do that.
I thought it was actually a great interview, mate. It was nice to see that he addressed the fact that he was maybe reacting to the fans as an extension of being frustrated with himself. I thought that was good. Also, the fact that, listen, the guy put his hands up and said, I know. I know that I should have 6 goals and I've got 3, and that I've missed 2 big chances in the last 2 games before this. And it made him a bit more personable. I thought that you could actually see that maybe he understands the frustration of the fans and he's put his hands up and taken ownership of it. Because as I said before we came on, if you look at that other big donkey, he thinks he's the best player in Scottish football. Dessers, genuinely, people go like that, oh, he's a dead likeable big guy. He's smiling because he thinks you're an idiot. He thinks we're all donkeys. Mate, he thinks people that criticise him haven't got a clue. And see, when he came off last night, that was my overriding thought, is that he came off last night thinking he's been hard done by and he's put in a good shift. And you've seen the stats today, and he had 12 touches of the ball against St Johnstone at Ibrox. 12 touches when we had about 684% possession. 12 touches.
Well, Ricky, you say that in Haaland, people, I'm not saying I'm not comparing to Dessers, but
Dessers and Haaland, Kerr, you're right. You've nailed it there. Dessers and Haaland.
I'm trying to say, people slag him because of how many touches the ball. He puts the ball in the net, doesn't he, on a regular basis, whereas Dessers he doesn't. But come back to Cherny, it was refreshing seeing a football player come out and saying stuff, because usually they come out with the same cliches or I don't really want to come in front of the camera because I'd rather not as certain players do, but he came out and, like what I said, he kind of told you for the heart how he was feeling. He was maybe struggling. He came in and get that goal against Motherwell, but he maybe struggled a wee bit after that, confidence-wise, performance-wise. But remember, he came from our country. He doesn't know how we play. I still think we have to. The Clermont's formation doesn't work for me, but that's just my opinion. But at least he came out and admitted it, and you can see, there's parts of his game we're no fans of, but there's also parts of his game that can offer you something like he done last night.
Yeah, no, that Rangers jersey is heavy. You know, I mean, it's not. We just think it's easy just to rock up here, and he plays for the Czech Republic. He actually starts for them in their international games. There's something, he does have something about him. But to be fair to the fans, since the Motherwell game, let's be honest, he's been absolutely rotten, and he was rotten against Leon as well. And it's not small chances he's missed; it's big chances. And I totally agree. To be fair, I'll give Clermont some credit, because I would not have started Cherny last night, to be honest with you. I would have started McCausland on the right, but the manager got that one right, and he stuck by him when his form has been terrible, and he gave. The problem for us is, mate, we're not a team that's creating good chances and taking chances. That's 2 games in a row at Ibrox after Europe that we've been a moments team. It's moments that are winning us games. So what's going to happen when these moments dry up, you know? I mean, Cherny yesterday, last week it was Lawrence with that one big moment, and apart from that, you're watching Dessers. And last night it was basically a repeat. Well, we're so toothless going forward. I thought it was. I mean, you were at the match. I was up until 1 a.m. My mate was in China till 4 a.m. watching that. We've all got work in the morning, and it was absolutely dreadful to watch going forward. You know, we weren't creating anything. The chances that we did create were like half chances here and there. We're not opening teams up with good play. There wasn't the patterns that we'd seen before, so I was a little bit disappointed. So we needed that for Cherny yesterday. We needed the 2 goals, and he took both his goals. The first one was an absolute peach, you know. It was like that guy Cherky through the week. He put it through the guy's legs and then smashed it in the bottom corner. And then the second goal as well, you know, on his weaker foot. Great pass from Hadji, broke the lines, beat the defender and smashes it in the bottom corner. So we need to see more of that going forward.
Yeah, we do, and Ross, we got to half time, obviously leading, and then he made 2 subs at half time and brings on Barron and Hadji. Takes off, obviously, because and then Diomande. But he says Diomande was struggling with, he looked tired. To me, why did you start him? Do you know that way? It's like, if he can only play 45 minutes, he's looking tired. He must have been, he said he was running a lot, he's been put a lot of effort in the last few games. Surely it'd have been better resting him than last night. I know we've got a national break coming up, but he seems to do this quite a lot. We come on to contract, contradicts himself on certain players. He said Barham has had a lot of football recently, so he's rested them. But Put him on at half time.
I think the Amanda always looks tired, mate, to be honest with you. I think he just always looks dead lackadaisical, just saunters about. Like if you bought Glenn Kamara, if I wish, mate, that's what I think. I think he's that sort of player, but without the quality of the likes of a Kamara. On Clement, he's just a walking contradiction in himself, isn't he? He is, but he is. I was thinking to myself last night, watching the game, see the players we've got. See if you done the unthinkable and dropped Tav and got somebody that can get up and down the park on the right. You could essentially just reuse Gerrard's tactics and play with two wide that cut inside the park and leave the flanks wide open for Hefty and a mobile right back. And then you've got Barron and Raskin there who could do the Ryan Jack bit and just marshal the midfield and drop into cover for them. And that worked for us. It won us a league. It won us Old Firm games. But sorry, that was just me going off on a tangent there again. I know I do it all the time. But he's Barron needs a rest, but I'll give him 45. Diamande needs a rest, so I'll take him off at half time. Raskin needed 90 minutes. I think a 20, what is Barron, 21, 22? Mate, there's guys I know that play over 35s that play a Wednesday and a Saturday, and they work all during the day as well for it. I just don't get it with a young guy. All he needs rested. So mate, Clement he's just a big walking cliche for me, to be honest. And as I say, I want to get behind him. I want to get behind him, but then every time he brings out a starting 11, I'm like, make sense of that. I can't. He must know more than me because he's getting paid handsomely for doing the job he's doing. But it's just weird.
I'm 50-50. I'm on the fence. I wasn't for him coming in. I remember when he got appointed, I wasn't a big fan of him. And when he came through the door, I thought, we're looking no bad here. He seemed to got them playing, but it was never a style you could say it yourself. You can see what's happening. I mean, we were playing decent stuff, but he tinkers too much for me. And I think he struggles with certain positions. I think he does just playing to some player strengths. He tries to, like you say, Ricky, he plays McCausland in a position he's not going to play well.
It's madness.
And what's McCausland to me? He's decent coming off coming off the bench. I think starting games maybe his knee strength. That's not against McCausland. I just feel he's better towards a tire. I think they get more out of him doing that. But like, I know it's always going back to Tavernier because he's a big elephant in the room at the moment. But you mentioned Ross, if you play with a right back, it can get up and down, and maybe see the best of Cherny because he doesn't have to maybe drop deeper at times to cover Tav. I mean, before we go on to the second half of the match, I mean, Casemiro, since he's played for us, hasn't he put a foot wrong? He's a big physical boy. He's aggressive. Yeah, he's athletic. I mean, a couple of games he's played, he's nearly scored last night with a strike, and then the European game he should have scored it as well, but he doesn't seem phased either. He gets stuck in and come on, he's trying to G them up and push them forward. And why doesn't he not play him there? Is it because, like you said, Ross, he's scared to drop the captain? Or but if it's for the benefit and the good of the team, why not? This could cost him his job. I think he knows he's secure at least the end of the season because they're not going to sack a manager. They're not going to get a manager through the door with no. We have boardroom, it's a mess. No CEO there, no director of football there. So it's like basically, come on, it's got it until the end of the season. But the performances can't keep being like this because we're going to end up, we'll fall off a cliff at some point. We'll end up fighting for second place or fighting for third place because I don't see as any consistency there. You've mentioned moments, Ricky, you've mentioned stuff, so I can't see. He says Raskin needs 90 minutes and gave him it. But he'll probably drop him when we come back. He signed Sterling, signed a new deal. Then he said, I need to see him play 10 games in a row before I can see he's a first team starter. How can he play 10 games in a row if you don't pick him? It's just all these things. annoying me.
Right, I'll tell you what,
Like,
the last two games we've played at Ibrox, we've finished the game with 3 recognised right backs out of 11 players on the field. We finished
know.
both the last games at Ibrox with 3 right backs on the park because they'll
Madness.
not just take one off. Wild.
Now, answer.
Sorry,
That's what
Kerr.
people said in the chat there. Tottenham Tab isn't going to make us all beaters. We know that. But sometimes if you get issues in the team, start somewhere you know you can improve. Don't just keep him there because it's Tav. We know what he's done in the past. But when you're trying to move your team forward or try to get younger players gelling and get your team playing a lot better, take out the person who's causing you most issues. And Tavernier's only playing well this season. He was okay last night, but it's not the Tav we've seen before. And sometimes you just kind of keep somebody there on the basis of what they've done. Sometimes you have to say, right, your legs are away. You can still be captain, but be captain for the bench and make somebody else captain like Butland in the match. You know what I mean? Be the club captain, he can be the team captain. We just can't. I'm not going to say drop Tab will make his world beaters at Olney, but dropping Tab sees what will happen because he's not always going to be there. I've always said this season could be his last. So we'll see what we can. I could see Casemiro play 10 games in a row, Sterling play 10 games in a row. So we can see what's ahead. Don't just keep playing players because you've done it.
No, totally agree, Kerr. But that's the problem, mate. Is what, like, we all see it. Like, as soon as this team steps up to a higher level, which we're going to be in the next 2 months, I totally disagree with you, to be honest with you. I know you're saying you think he gets to the end of the season, but for me, if we go to Pittodrie and Aberdeen beats us, and that the way that things are looking just now, there's a fair chance. I don't think Aberdeen, everyone's getting a bit excited. I don't think they're all they're cracked up to be. I still think that we should be going up there and beating them. But if he loses that match, and then he loses 2 games against Celtic, if we manage to get to the cup final, then there's the fans, and he's still playing Tavernier. And this is what I said from the start of the season, Kerr. Fans will get behind a rebuild if we see a rebuild. But if you keep making the same mistakes and every single time this team steps up a level and you're picking the same defence and you've got options on the bench to change it, fans will go mental. Fans will not get behind that, and it'll be the fans that will decide if he's going to be the Rangers manager. It won't be the board. I mean, the board are on a sticky wicket as well. You see some of them in that director's box, man. It makes you feel sick, to be honest with you. So if he doesn't come through but I said that that's a positive as well, because if he does win their matches, then brilliant. We'll get behind the rebuild. He was right. He was correct. If he beats Aberdeen, beats Celtic twice, wins the cup, we're all the mugs, and it's brilliant. Come on, brilliant. I want to be wrong. I was wrong about Cherny at the weekend. I want to be wrong as a supporter, mate. But just now, I don't see it. I don't see he's learning from mistakes. He brought in Raskin yesterday, which I thought was a good move, and I thought it worked. I thought he played well in the 6. But we need to see a little bit more, because he needs to protect that defence, mate. Because as soon as we go up the levels, the defence is wide open because it's not getting protected from the midfield. The fullbacks are a shambles and they can't defend. And Proper and Suter are trying to plug all these holes. It's an absolute mess. And that's not going to change just because you beat St Johnstone 2-0. You can beat Hibs, like you can win all these home games against. To be honest with you, another thing just quickly is the level of Scottish football right now is the lowest it has ever been in my lifetime, mate. I'm 45 and I cannot remember the level of Scottish football being as bad. And I love Scottish football. It's not to dig it out, but I just think the levels right now are super poor, mate.
That's because Ricky went on the top, innit? Just get back to you, Ross. Well, I've always been a big advocate of Nico Raskin. I think there's something still there. I think when he plays well, you can see he's a good player. You know, done it often enough through injury and not getting picked. But I was happy to see him play last night. I thought he'd done well. I thought he'd done the basics really well. That's what I was pleased about. He wasn't playing safe all the time. He was trying to move the ball forward. He was intercepting things. I thought he performed last night. I like to see him get a run in the side.
Can I just start off by saying I can't believe Ricky's just gave his age without counting all the years he was in education. He's at least 60, man. No danger. No danger.
That's the sun he gets. That's the sun he takes.
That's what it is. Anti-wrinkle cream and lager. Raskins, he's good. He's mobile. I think he's another one, and you seen last night with Barron coming on and playing slightly further forward. I think he's got to pick a role for them,
Aye.
and they can then start to develop as a trio. If it is Diamande, Barron and Raskin, find out what one's playing where. And he's talking last night about Raskin's got to learn to play the 6 as well as the 8, and Sterling's got to learn to play right back, left back, winger, goalkeeper, physio. Fucking, we can't just. Players have got positions, just play them in their positions and let the team play together and gel together, because it is a rebuild that's happened. But see, come the end of this season, see if we're no up there and challenging and the league's a scoosh, then it quickly goes from being a rebuild to just being a downsizing for me. A rebuild means you're building something. For me, the now he's throwing a lot of shit at the wall, switching wee chess pieces about the board and hoping something sticks. I'd rather they just pick what he thinks his strongest 11 and says, right, for the next 2 or 3 games, we're going to just play this 11 and see where it takes us.
Just come back to you, Ross, man. I mean, you're saying there are 6 and 8, this and that. Why is it in football nowadays? I mean, I'm older by 2 years, but you know what I mean when I say this. Why do you have to stereotype players into a certain position? To me, a midfielder is a midfielder. If you play in the middle of the park, if you're able to defend and get forward, end of the day, why are you all getting stereotyped into you're a 6, you're an 8, you're a 10? You're a midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's just me. It's just the way football's went. It's like you can only play 6, you can only play 8. Why can't we just play in the middle of the park and get done with it? What's the difference? Do you know what I mean? That's
So
for you,
you're
Ross.
Sorry, I was daydreaming, mate. What did you say? I was zoned out, man. Mate, I took a drink of my juice and I was just going, this cherry Pepsi Max is
You heard me, you answer.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you're right, but you need a bit of structure in there. I mean, with this, this bad news in the press conference that Cortez is going to be out long term. I don't know what the manager meant by long term, but just a bit of a disaster. So for me, I agree with you. I would like to see Raskin and Barron try and build a partnership with Diamande a bit further forward, because I think now we don't have any choice. We need to use it's Barami apparently. I've been getting told off from that Albanian guy on Twitter. He's been given, apparently it's not Bajrami. The J is silent. It's Barami. So we'll call him Barami. Yeah, I think we need to use him on the left, mate. And I think he's been good on the left. You know, I think we need, especially with Haji missing the next 3 games. And then God knows what we do in the number 9 position. I've not got a clue what. Come on, sort that one out. And then hopefully Czerny can, off the back of this good performance, hopefully build on it and start to see a bit more consistency, because that old Motherwell game was a long time ago. So try and get some partnerships going in the middle. And we need to try something different, mate, because if we keep doing exactly the same thing, when we come to these bigger games, we're just going to get found out, and it's not going to be pretty, mate.
Stuart says here, they'll be playing a 3-5-2. Clement's mentioned that, Ross, but he's never really went to it. But he has mentioned that a few times, and maybe go back, change the formation to a 3-5-2. Would that help us?
Mate, a lot of games we play a 3-5-2 anyway, because Connor Barron ends up sweeping for the 2 centre halves. So I think it is it's football manager stuff, innit? But it's you're watching the game, and it is. Lundstrom done it a bit under Van Bronckhorst as well, but I'd say it's more pronounced with Barron, who actually drops in sometimes and picks the ball up for Butland from behind your 2 centre halves. So I think that there is an element of that, but I also think that's why we get absolutely killed with one pass through our midfield, because Hefty and Tav are far too far up. Even against Leon, I'm gonna get accused of being a fanboy here, but I seen Joshua Barry's piece on our wing backs position every time Leon broke, and you had they 2 boys on the wings for them that were absolute dynamite, and you've got Tav and Hefty nowhere to be seen, and Proper, as JD says, runs as if his arse hairs are tied together. He can't run, that fella, but he's very good. I like the way he defends. I like the way he wants to face up an attacker rather than backing off. But when it comes to a pass in behind, there's absolutely no danger. He's going to catch up with a decent striker.
No, he lacks pace. I've said that he lacks pace, but he intercepts very well. He's good on the ball. He can spot a pass. He's good in the ball. He's talks to his cell defenders all game. But I just feel he's trying to cover too much ground. Like you see, he's not getting the pace, but he's over next to Suter. He's over with Jeff. There's no like structure. Nobody really knows where they are. And I don't know nowadays in football. Is it too much? It's all about analysts and all this. Is that too much information going to the players? They got overloaded with information. They don't know what they're doing. The basics. They're just go out and do this and do that. It's like sometimes they don't know who each other are. And that's how maybe a 3-5. I know you said a 3-5 kind of go that way, but I just feel he wants to play this 10, doesn't he? And I just feel when you're playing the 10, the midfield's not solid because I think it would have to be Raskin and Barron to make it more solid. I think with the man in there, he's everywhere. Try to get forward, try to do stuff, but so you're leaving one guy to cover a lot of space. What do you think, Ricky?
Yeah, no, I think football is. I mean, imagine you go back, and I'm not going back to be nostalgic for being nostalgia's sake here, but when you go back to players like we used to have Gaza and all that, could you imagine now them playing and being told that you need to be in this position at this time and you need to pass the ball this way, this pattern, that pattern, you know? It's these guys. I mean, football. It must be so boring for footballers, and like the footballers want to play off the cuff, you know. That was the whole fun of being a footballer, was you were playing off the cuff and you were doing this and you were doing that. And it's just nowadays, I think the players are way, and this goes back to kids as well, like, you know, like kids, I think they're overcoached to death and they're told exactly the position they need to be in at a certain time and pass the ball with this weight and that. I think it's all nonsense, mate. I really do. I think you can definitely overcoach a team, filling the players' heads full of too much garbage, and then you're giving them too much that they need to remember at a certain time. But I think Proper and Suter has been okay as a partnership, but I do worry about that pace when they do step up a level, to be honest. Like, you know, I think Proper's they're good in domestic games. Both of them are quite good ball carriers and they pass the ball out good from defence, you know. But I think when they step up the level, it'll be interesting to see if we're going to get any better with the big games coming up, to be honest.
I do think Ross with Proper and Suter there since they've been playing together. This is just coming for me before I get abused again in the chat. But just to say, I think Jack Butland's been playing a lot better. I think his confidence is back. He's coming out for crosses more confident in it. He's shouting more. And I think it was last night. He gave Proper a good balling because he was in a certain position. And last night when he came out for the diving header, what do you think of that one? I mean, his confidence is back, Ross. He was making mistakes, and he'll probably say that himself, but his confidence is back. And this is the guy we seen when he first came in.
I thought he was good last night. I don't know why Cole's getting up and shouting, man. I don't know what's going on here. Just an angry Tim just stormed through the living room, man.
What? You just got chopped twice, that's why.
Dogs are fighting, man. Dogs are fighting. They're fighting in the streets, boys. What did you say again? This is a nightmare, isn't it? My head's up my hole tonight.
But Butland's confidence back.
Butland,
is it because of Proper and Suiters? The two in front of him for a while, is it changes? And he's coming out for more cross balls, he's come out and diving heading things away, he's shouting at his defenders for not being in the position they should be. He seems to be more about him than it was at the start of the season.
Sorry, I do remember you saying that, man. Last night he coming out for the diving header, class. What about the one he's let in for Nicky Clark, who didn't look offside, by the way?
That was offside, so he didn't let nothing in, Ross. He didn't let nothing in.
Stinker, man. That's my only worry, Keir. See the now when he's got a bit of confidence and he's got some clean sheets and stuff. Excellent. My worry is when he makes a mistake, because he made a couple of mistakes and then it seemed to throw his confidence. I want him to be the way he is the now, because he's got that in him. He's got the ability to do that. And I do think
guy, Ross, I feel like it's a couple and it affects him confidence wise.
I think so.
Does he believe in himself as much?
I think so, mate, and I think that's probably why he's at Rangers. I think if you, obviously being a goalkeeper when I was younger, you watch young goalies coming through, mate, and when he was early in his career, really good, and then had one shaky couple of games and he ended up losing his place. And then from then on, he hardly kicked a ball for years. You look at the young boy for Leeds, who obviously had a stinker the other night, but he was playing in the Premier League at 18, 19 years of age, week in, week out. Then, after a couple of mistakes, he's not had a good season for the last two. So being a goalie is about confidence, but definitely having the two in front of him is going to help him if they are getting a partnership. Would I ideally like him to have a new right back? I think Hefty at left back is proven decent as well. I think he actually helps Proper out a wee bit with some of his recovery pace. There's a couple last night, they came down the right hand side and Proper's running out and Hefty just appears from nowhere, and really takes that. Proper wants to be right on the attacker, and it sometimes leads him out of position a wee bit, I think. So I think the pace and the athleticism of Hefty really helps him with that. On Butland, it's the Dessers thing again. He really needs a big Old Firm performance. He needs to make a real big match defining save in an Old Firm game for me, because up until now, the last three, he's possibly cost us more than he saved us against Celtic so far, and I'd like to see him rectifying that.
Hopefully it does, Ross. But just Paul's question, Ricky. Do you think Balogun should be having more minutes just in case there's injury to Proper or Suter? Because he's not played a lot of football.
No, I think you've got to. I know, but I think Balogun's the sort of player that he's quite robust, mate. He's able to just come in when needed and perform to quite a high level. He's always been able to do that throughout his career. If you were going to change anyone, I would like to see Sterling throw at right centre back ahead of Suter to give a bit more pace in the defence. With Carson Warjo at right back, that's what I would like to try that. But to be honest, Balogun, I think he'll be fine. If we need him, he's only be there to be called upon. He's a great pro. That's why he was given one more year, mate, because he's good around the place. He's good with the younger players, and he doesn't sulk. He's a good example to if you're not playing. He's basically the opposite of Dessers, you know. He sits on the bench. He's happy to sit on the bench. He knows the age. He's a good squad player. And if he's needed, he'll come in. You know what Balogun's going to do. So if we're going back, like Ross says, man, this is a rebuild. If we're going back to Balogun being one of your centre backs, then come on now, man. What kind of rebuild is this that we're, you know? I mean, what are you going to? For me, he's good at. If called upon, he's going to be ready. So I wouldn't be putting him in the team for no reason, no.
No, I agree with you. By all accounts, when he was signed on the deal, it's because he's one of the leaders in the dressing room. No, I don't mean like because he plays a lot. It just means he's a voice that people listen to. He gives advice to young guys, and he's just always do you know him and Butland seem to be by all accounts the main two. So it's just good to see. Some dressing rooms need that. I mean, players, the manager shouldn't be about the dressing room that often. The players have to at an age, they're professional enough to look after themselves in the dressing room. If it goes bad, then they should have a meeting together saying that was a poor performance, we need to sort this out. They shouldn't have to wait until somebody comes in and says, to use our crap today, let's get a meeting sorted. I should be coming for the captain and other players on the side to say, we need your performances here. So hopefully that happens. I don't know if it does, but hopefully it does. But it's the second half, Tierney get his second goal, like Ricky alluded to. Hadji comes on, he got a good when he came on, the fans clapped him and stuff like that when he came on. And he put that ball through to Tierney and he took it well on his right foot, didn't he? I thought he was going to try and cut back on his left, but he took it back on his right foot and it was a bit weak, but he managed to squeeze it by the keeper.
You thought it was Dessers. So you thought he was going to cut back in again. That's what it is. You thought it was No, it's mate. Hadji offers something. I was quite surprised that folk were surprised they got a good reception. He's a player who got bummed out, who Beale gave a contract to, and then because he spoke out about not getting a chance, Beale packed him off to Spain. He's came back. He's knuckled down. He's not come out and said anything against the club. He's worked hard. He's represented the B team. He's took his medicine. He's waited. By all accounts, he seems to have cancelled a clause that Beale put in his contract that he would get extra money. So he's took a pay cut to continue playing.
that was Ross Wilson put it in, Ross.
You just don't like Ross Wilson. You just don't like Rossi's care. That's what it is with you, man. It's just script. Yeah, anti-Ross, man. You're a heavy anti-Rossist. Fuck Ross Kemp and all, baldy bastard. Mate, I don't know, man. This is shambles, isn't it? This is a nonsense.
Ricky, I'll come to you with Charles'. Thanks, Charles, for the super chat. Appreciate it. He said information means nothing unless you work as a unit, like 442. Ricky?
Yeah, but I agree with what Ross said. But yes, hello. Yeah, no, I it's 4-4-2. I mean, 4-4-2 is quite outdated now because you get overrun in midfield. But I mean, people go on about formations, man. What like Ross says, what is our formation? You know, we get the ball into defence. The fullbacks bomb forward. Then we're playing with free because Barron's in between the centre backs trying to break the lines. Most of the time we play against teams in Scotland, they're all sat in anyway. They've got 10 defenders in the box, so it's basically a game. How are you going to break down this 10 defenders? How are you going to break these down and manage to score a goal? And so for me, it's all right saying play 4-4-2, play 5-3-2, play 4-2-3-1, play this, play that. But our formation is so fluid; it changes all the time during a match. What I want to see, mate, if you go back to basics, what I want to see. Okay, defending has been okay in the SPL level. We've played 6 games since the last international break, and apart from Leon, we've not conceded a goal. So there is positive signs there with the defending. I think going forward, we've been quite poor, to be honest with you. The last 2 home games has been very disappointing. So I want to break it down to how do we defend and how do we attack. I think, and even I mean, he says that in his press conference as well. He's not happy with the way that the team is attacking. I still think it's quite slow. But when we play at a good pace, teams can't live with us. When we play slow, and it's back to that, just tippy-tappy around, it's very difficult to break these teams down. And especially when you've got an absolute, basically slam man as a number 9, a guy that's full of sand rather than blood, that just moves so slow, then it's very difficult to break these teams down. So formation 4-4-2, 5-3-2, 4-1-2-3. I don't think it really matters that much, to be honest.
There's a major issue with the 4-4-2 chat, and that logistically to play a 4-4-2 you need 2 strikers. We don't have
2 strikers.
Striking
one.
It's so bad. But you need
last
2
night,
strikers to play 4-4-2.
Back to Hadji. Hadji, come on, played the ball through to Ken, like I said. Decent pass. He done okay. Hadji's passing has always been decent. He is technically a really good footballer. But he moved Barami back out to the left. Like you said, he seems comfortable there. But Hadji then went in for a tackle. Do you think it was a red? Do you think it was any malice in it? I don't want you to turn around and say he's not played a lot of football, that's why he made that tackle, because he has been playing, he has been training. So do you think it was just mistimed? I don't think it was malicious. I don't think it was malicious. I've seen it back. I just think it was a challenge.
It's he's stretched, isn't he? He's obviously no match sharp to that level. The boys nicked the ball away from him. If the boy's got a set of shin pads on, he doesn't get hurt, eh? And don't tell me that the SIM cards that folk wear on their socks and their shin pads. That's not a shin pad, that's a SIM card you've got in your socks, mate.
A nano SIM.
Aye. But see if the boys get shin guards on, it possibly doesn't even get looked at because the play just goes on. But when you see it back, it's a stinker, mate. It is. It's an absolute stinker. What I would say is there was a tackle very similar on Barron a couple of weeks ago that wasn't given. So again, it's that subjective piece, but absolutely no complaints. I'm glad Clement never tried to sugarcoat it either. He just came out and said, when you see it in slow motion, it's a red card. I've always said, you hear people saying, you shouldn't be allowed to slow the tackle down because that makes it look worse. For me, you can't make it look worse. See if it was a terrible tackle and it catches somebody with studs on the shin, it's a red card. See if you can't really see that happens when you speed it up or play it in real time. If you slow it down, you'll see exactly what's happened. It was a definite red card. He was unlucky there's absolutely no malice in it. It's not as if he's threw his full body weight behind it. He's kind of dangled a leg out into and just been a fraction short of getting the tackle in.
Set some back, Ross, but doesn't it? Because he's just back in the fold now. He's suspended for 3 matches.
It does obviously does set him back, but it'll give him the international break. He's gone away with Romania, I believe. Hopefully he'll get some minutes there at international level. Then it'll give him 2 weeks to train with the first team, because we forget as well that it's only very recently that he's been back training with the first team. So he's been training at a lower level in the B team. Mate, I think Hadji will be fine. I think he'll have important moments, as Ricky said earlier, moments over the course of the season, mate. I think I think it's very suspicious that Cortez gets injured again, and then all of a sudden we find out it's long term, and then we go and get somebody in that can fill in a number in the squad. Mate, I'm just waiting on Casemiro to go down injured, because if you come here and you've got an option to buy at the end of your hanger, you come on loan and you get injured and play 3 or 4 games, you just get signed the next season and then just get paid to sit on the treatment table the full next season and all, with £4 million of next year's budget cashed in on you already.
That's what happened.
Mate, it's so frustrating. See when you look at the treatment table, our treatment table probably costs more than the squad that's playing. When you look at Danilo, 6.5 million, you've got Matondo, 3 million, you've got Cortez, you're going to be paying a guaranteed 4 million next year, 3.5, 4 million, whatever the number is. It's a lot of money just to be sitting there when you think you had Hadji and Cantwell training with the B team. And it's back to that never-ending circle that we go round and round and round and round and round and never get to the end of. Is the amount of money we waste as a football club is ridiculous on inflated wages for players that we seem to be the club that thinks that they're like a reformation centre. We are, you're not having a great time, mate. We'll take you and we'll build you up, and it's as if we don't realise that we play in front of 52,000 people every week that want to win every game, and there's pressure on you for day dot. And if you don't perform, as Cherny's seen the now, you're going to get it in the neck. And some people are not cut out for that either.
No, it's a heavy shot, as we've said. But Ricky, going to Charles' point here, and thanks again, Charles, for your super chat, mate. It's superb.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
They don't beat the sheep, Aberdeen, Cali. There will be unhappy fan base, and PC jacket will go on a shaky nail, which you've been saying all along, Nicky.
I said that on Friday's pod, mate. That's why I'm not. When I watched the football last night against St Johnstone, when I watch us against Hibs, I'm already thinking about these games we've got coming up, the big games we've got coming up. The Kilmarnock's away, which is a tough game. Aberdeen on a Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. It'll be freezing cold up there, you know. I saw a few of the players were struggling, like Bajrami and that, struggling already with the cold. They're like, oh, it's a bit nippy here when they're walking in Ibrox with the tracksuits on. Wait until they get up to the sheep pen and there's seagull shit everywhere and it's minus 10 up in Aberdeen with the wind coming howling off that North Sea, man. Then they'll get the shock of their lives, you know, and we need to take. So I completely agree. I completely agree with Charles, and I think Ross made another great point there. Is that's the difference between us and Celtic right now, mate. We're rebuilding, but when we spend money, our players are on the treatment table. Throw Yilmaz in there as well, man. Yilmaz 5-6 million when we didn't even need a left back. Our signings, when we spend money, how many of them, even right now, how many players that we've actually spent money on, would you say, are in our team? Our best players this season are Yefte and Barron, that cost a bag of footballs and some peanuts, and it's just, and that's the way it's been the last 3-4 years. The players that we've...
And that's going to tribunal.
I know, but it's going to be 500,000, mate. It's always 500,000, is it? It's going to be 500,000. But then you look at like the year before that, it was Butland we brought in that was Player of the Year for free. And so it's anytime we spend money, the players are not contributing. And okay, some of these players are quite young, and there's still a chance for them to make it at Rangers. But I was desperately disappointed when I heard about Cortez yesterday being out again for long term, mate. It's just like, come on, we've got rid of Roof, and then we've brought in Cortez, and then he's exactly the same. he's going to be out long term now, and we are struggling big style on that left side to fill it. Rami, but I called him again. But Rami has to play there. He's the only option we've got there just now. You know.
As Paul said, it's been settled. I've not heard that. I don't know what.
I never heard that. I know the sheep are looking for 10 million, and we're offering 100k. So we'll see where they settle.
But just getting back to Cortez, Ross, before we wrap up things up. But I mean, remember we had a obligation to buy Tillman, and Bayern Munich changed it, and it cost him £1 million. I would do that with Cortez. I would say I don't want him anymore, and if it's £1 million, you pay it. I don't think it's worth paying £4 million or €4 million, whatever it is, for a guy who's already shown he's been here 6 months. He was on loan last season, he got injured, and then he's come back and he's played about 7 games and he's constantly getting injured. I wouldn't risk that money because you've not got that type of money to spend on a guy, like you said, going to come and sit in the treatment table. I mean, their treatment tables they could have their last supper on it, it's that big. Do you know what I mean? It's pointless.
But this is fully on Clement. This is fully on him and Coppin, because they're the ones that took him last season. He played played a part in 5 or 6 games and then was out for the rest of the season. And we thought, based on the 5 or 6 performances, I know what we'll do. We'll sign up to take him on loan next season with an obligation to buy him for $4 million smackaroonies. Mate, see, when you've seen him, he looks half decent for what I've seen him. He looks like maybe somebody you would like an Igamani, maybe throw £1 million and take a punt on. That he's never a £4 million player. Never in a million years are you buying that sort of potential for £4 million. I don't really see it with him. I seen him on the first game of the season, and to be fair, the big boy Gerald Taylor at Hearts, he couldn't get by him. He couldn't get by him for pace, strength, nothing. I don't think he's got. I mean, I think it's so hard to get a decent winger in Scottish football. And it turns out that the most effective one's probably the one that's got the least footballing ability, and Dyson Maeda, who can just run and has got composure. He can finish, but he's not like a tricky winger. It's just literal pace. We've tried it with Matondo. We've tried it with Cortez. We've tried it with so many, and it's like once you step up that level, as Ricky says, they just seem to get bullied. Even against Leon and against Celtic, Czerny didn't look as if he had the strength or the pace to go by anybody. And in this, wingers are notoriously small, tricky, low centre of gravity, but you're coming up against a big right back that's just going to kick you off the park. And I think it's a really difficult position to fill in the likes of this Rangers team. And I think that's why we had so much success under Gerrard, especially in the likes of your Old Firm games, when all your width and your wing play was coming for a right back, because they were getting up there and arriving unmarked. So that opens up the space. If we play a Cortez and they just put their right back on him, I don't think him, or to be honest, Czerny, when we've played against the better teams, look as if they can actively do a couple of step overs, go by a man and put in a good delivery.
I think Czerny can maybe pick a pass or two right enough to do other stuff, but I think Cortez is getting him.
But he's coming inside.
I just spent the money on Seema.
Yes,
for me,
someone said that today.
For me, the Czerny one is he's coming inside and then Masty's good play inside the park. He's not going down the wing and beating a man.
Was it man said probably inverted wingers, don't he, man? He's wingers to come in as well. So listen, I've heard that by all accounts, Clement doesn't want to sign anybody over 25. That's what he's looking at, under 25, because he wants to start doing this Gordon model, which is fine if you get it right, but you can also take time with it, because you maybe need better older players in there, but you can also take time finding young guys to come in and do a job. I mean, you want to watch with Jeffy because he looks quality, especially what we got on forward, but other ones are maybe struggling, but that's what
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old they are. We need them to be on the pitch contributing, mate. It doesn't matter if you're 21, 25, 35, 40. We need them to be on the pitch contributing. We don't have money to have players that cost 4 million. It's not the 90s anymore, mate. We can't have a Duncan Ferguson sitting in the stand doing absolutely nothing.
No,
If we spend
maybe
4 million... If we spend 4 million on Diamande, he's got to play and he's got to play well. If we spend 4 million on Cortez, he's got to be contributing with assists and goals. And this is the big... Doesn't matter who the manager is. Clement, Beale, whoever. These players always seem to be injured. Clement said the problem for Clement is he said he was going to fix this. He said, his exact words, this will not be happening this season. The injuries will stop and we're in exactly the same position we were last season. We've played 8 games this season and our whole left side is injured. Our left back is injured first. It's supposed to be. Our left winger is injured. It's not good enough, Kerr. It's got to get better.
It's got to get better, Ricky. And on that note, that's us finished for tonight. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Charles, for your 2 super chats. It's much appreciated. Thank you, Ross, for your moustache, and thank you myself for not having one. And just to let you know, we'll not be on Friday because it's international break, so we're having Friday night off. So Ricky can have a couple of drinks and Ross can enjoy and does what he does, and JD can have a night to himself. But we'll come back next Monday and we'll be back on it again. So like I say, thank you everybody for tuning in and see you again.